I'm going to run out of this soon. I don't think the wood glue that I've got is going to quite last until I've finished the whole house. I might have to buy some more. Weird instruction shift as well, because these last windows don't have an instruction on them to paint them. I don't quite know why it has abandoned the idea that you paint the interior window frames. Okay, I'm just building myself up to doing the oh no, it does say I'm supposed to paint them. Right, okay, I'm just going to go and get my painting kit. So these are my last 4 windows, and they go on the front of the house. This is a basic window. This goes on the middle. No, it's one of the 2, so it has 2 windows on either side of the main door. I should have posted a better picture because I've got quite a few pictures of the house now. We need to have those correct, so those need to be set up correctly. Check everything. I stopped working on the Moomin house over winter because it's just too cold. It's now just about warm enough. Even on it's a really cold day today, but on a day like today, I can just about work on it. And it sounds like my cats. Good morning, Indy. Hello. Yep. It's 8 p.m. So yeah, it's nearly 8:10, so you can't have food yet. You don't see very much. Once I finally got the, I've done most of the other windows. I really should have been, I really wish I had recorded the whole process, to be honest, the whole 2 years of doing the Moomin house. It would have been, I've got a lot of photographs, but I don't have as much as I could have done in terms of media. I know, India, I know. Yeah, it's hard. It is hard. Really. Yep, Daddy went out. So it's just me. And I'm just going to do this little bit. And then, because I'm just doing a test run. So there's not very much to see, especially the windows that are inside on the sections of the walls, which I will have to show in another video, because when I get to that bit, I have a lot to do with the lighting that I'm adding. Oh, hello. Yes. Yeah. Some of the windows, you can see more of the interior than otherwise, and the lights might actually, they're probably going to make the poor quality of my craft work is going to stand out really, really strongly. So these, there was a long period, and I did lots and lots of time-lapse videos of me putting windows together. Hiya. Yeah, no, don't. Sit over there. Go girl. No, I have a very determined cat. Yeah, you're very determined, aren't you? Yeah. And you can't go up there either, because it's got all of the Moomin house stuff on it. You just have to tolerate this. You have a cat. There's no point getting stressed, because it stressed her out. Is the great issue with doing crafting like this, you know, you're doing one of a kind crafting, is, yeah, no, darling, is you get cat hair on everything. So the Moomins are going to look like the house has been visited. No. Like, this is cat life. I'm going to just have to come here. You see, there I am talking about being calm, and now you have got white paint on your paw, you silly girl. Come on. And if we get white paint, we get white paint on the desk mouse mat, Daddy's gonna be so cross, isn't he? Yeah, good girl. I have the kind of cat who will put her nose into an open flame. So you have to watch her. We don't have candles in this house, because she will just. Yeah, you will, won't you? You just shove your face into an open flame. And he will tell you that animals fear fire. Absolutely not this one. She just thinks it's something to sniff. So what I've done is I've checked, because there is a bevel, or it's angled on one side of these little sections of the window. So when I glue the windows, and just check that I put the plastic panel so that the frame goes on the outside, and not all the windows are like that. I was not consistent. And these are the kind of things that you realise as you come towards the end of a project, I suppose, is stuff that I should perhaps have thought about, things that were more difficult to do, particularly with a project like this where you're receiving sections. Watch me stick my fingers to the frame and not the actual piece of plastic. Is that you receive a section once a month, and the problem with receiving a section once a month is, and the way that they do it, and I like the way they do it on a lot of levels, but you would receive parts of the project out of order. So in the this section with this window, you also get part of a desk. So you do part of a desk and a whole window, and it makes it really hard to build up a workflow and remember what you're doing from month to month, because you're not doing the same thing. And I can appreciate there's a reason why they do the whole thing this way, because I'm sure most people would get bored if you're not kind of used to doing the kind of project where you're going to end up doing the same thing over and over again. Yeah, I know it's your dinner time. You're interrupting. Yes, you are. When you are doing something like this, you are going to end up with, like, there are so many windows on the Moomin house, and there's not much variety, to be honest, for doing the windows, just the external frames. Most of the time you're sort of putting these bits together, doing the same thing over and over again, and I can see why that would get dull. It was very intense, the period last summer when I was doing windows every single day, but the upside of doing everything in series is that you can get a sense of the bigger section of the project rather than being you're sort of you're guessing what's it going to be like, what decisions am I going to have to make now based on what happens, what might come up later, how they're going to do stuff. Really good example of this was having decided to add lights. I had to wait and see what the interior walls were like on the big exterior walls have like an interior surface on them, and I had to wait to see what that looked like before I could actually put the lights on, and that and make a plan for doing the lights. So if I'd had all the windows together at once, I could have planned and thought this is the best way to do the windows. When I was doing the windows, I just sit down and kind of go, oh, I'm going to chill out and do a window, like I'm doing tonight, basically. And I sort of ended up with a few of the windows look different, or they look a little bit different. I probably have to be judging it to really see the difference. So I've actually got the Moomin house. This wall is not finished. This is one of the big exterior walls that you can remove, and in this one I had made the decision they're all the same. Does not yet have the interior wallpaper on it yet, because that is going to be a big video project that I do where I show how I'm putting together the lighting for the inside. And of course I didn't think of doing lighting on the inside until very late, so I had to make a plan bearing that in mind. So it's one aspect of doing a project like this. I mean, know that currently you can subscribe to the Moomin House project. I'm not paid by the company to tell you that you can do the Moomin House project again. You can build your own Moomin House. It is extremely expensive. It's extremely time consuming. It's a 2-year commitment in terms of actually sitting and doing it. So if that appeals to you, that's fantastic. But otherwise, it's, yeah, that's the difficulty, is being able to plan what you're doing and work out what you're actually going to need to do at each point. That's always been pretty difficult. So, and I'm not even, I feel like I'm close to the end. I feel like I'm close to the end, and I'm not actually close to the end. I've left a lot of stuff I haven't done in order. I've gone, oh, that's partial. That's clearly a partial section. Like, I haven't started and didn't start the desk. Whoa, right, my camera's all over the place. I haven't started the desk for Moomin Troll's desk. Moomin Troll has his own desk. Haven't started working on that. Won't start working on that until I can actually finish it in sort of maybe 1 or 2 sittings. Unlike projects where you are putting together, so we're doing another one of theirs. We're doing the Enterprise D. We're building the Enterprise D, and that's very straightforward because it's just wiring stuff in. But if you are not doing something where you're wiring things together, you're sticking things together with just screws here and there, if you're doing something like this, I mean, this has incorporated everything from papercraft to, I've never worked with wood before. I've done fabric crafts. I've learned to do lighting, which obviously that's not down to them. That's because I chose to do lighting. I chose to learn about lighting to do the lighting project side of it because I think it would look great with lighting. But the whole thing is quite tricky and requires a lot of planning. And then you need to think about where you're going to put it, where you're going to put all the pieces. Very small house. Hello, cat. Where's it going to go? While you're making it, we have been redecorating one room of the house. Quite a lot of the house does actually need work, but we were working on redecorating, and that has taken us quite a lot of time because I'm disabled. Tony works full time. These things are quite difficult to do when you're kind of relying on one person to do these things. So a project like this just actually takes a really, really long time to get done. And then you have to live with a cat screaming at you. Yeah, you've got 20 minutes until it's your dinner time. I know. It's not fair, is it? It's not fair. It's not fair. Oh, I have learned a lot. From doing this. I'm still shockingly impatient. I did see a video. It said ADHD people, when you're trying to do stuff like this, just like, oh, I think that's fine. I've left that enough time. She is not going to be quiet. You're not going to be quiet, are you? So, and this is not actually well centered. So what I've done is painted the interior frame, used wood glue for the wooden sections, quick drying glue, very strong quick drying glue for the window itself. The difficult bit is that the window has to be, yeah, I hear you. And this is the bit that I'm going to check which type of glue I need to use. Okay, so we have sections of the window to do now. Apparently she's starving. She's apparently starving. Oh no. This is the crisis that I come into. The one night I get time to actually do some work on the Moomin house, and you're going to trash the experience for me. See, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about it being risky doing any kind of crafting when you have a cat. So she's already stuck her paw in the white paint, and she will struggle. Okay. I will go and feed you. So I was just going to finish this off, but I need to find out what she has knocked off, whether I can recover it. What have you done? Where's the stuff gone? So this is actually something that I got really early on. Is I got this sink, and it's lovely because some of the sections of this are so well put together, and as you see, cat hair everywhere on everything. This is the little kitchen sink, and it is actually really tough, really nice ceramic piece. I'm gonna have to go. I've got little Totoro sprites. I've added lots and lots of different creatures are coming to live in the Moomin house once it's finished. This is a little bit of a tricky project because what I have to do next, just line that up. You can tell I haven't done this in a long time. Is I have to start by, let's just glue these in because then 4 minutes left before I have to go feed this noisy kitty of mine. And now I also have a memory that I had an issue when I used to do this. I was doing this last summer. I had an issue with chat, and so I don't know if Streamlabs is going to show me the chat. Might do, might not, might be a mystery. So although this is wood, it is painted wood, and this is an especially tricky section because I have to use a clip, and of course, as you can see, it's quite angled. That makes it even more difficult. It would have been so cool if I'd done this. There is someone on YouTube who does, who's been doing it section by section, so I've now screwed that up. The trouble with the quick drying glue is that it pulls the paint off. Then the angle of the sections is difficult. I need to get a flat piece of wood and an angled piece of wood to sit together. So that seems to have worked. Unfortunately, my third clip has gone AWOL. And I don't want to damage this because this is visible. This is stuff that stays, that you can actually see on the house when it's finished. Okay, so I'm just gonna let that set. Make sure that's stuck. It's not perfect. And now I shall go feed the cat for a second. Right, okay, we're back, and this should be set. Some of these have gone better than others. So we have a second. So because the Moomin house is curved, you have to curve the windows. You get a combination of curved wood and flat wood. So it's been a learning process. I don't know if that applies to the other projects that they sell on subscription. So this one has been a real learning curve. The Moomin house, because obviously, as I was saying, we were decorating, the Moomin house has moved around a lot. It stayed in our bedroom for a long time, which was really useful, actually. If there's one thing that I have found useful and that I've learned about my thinking doing this, is the value of just being able to sit and look at things. A project that you're working on, any crafting that you're doing, is when you're not actually working on it, is just sitting and looking at it. And I gained a huge amount from sitting, and would sit in bed and I could see the Moomin house just right there in front of me. And that was how I planned the lighting. Was all I was doing was just sitting and looking at it. And sometimes I would walk up to it and go, okay, that can go there. This is 4 lights. That's 1 light. this is, you know, this is where this can go, that's where that would fit. Although, as I said, a lot of that at the early stages was speculative because I didn't know what the structure of the walls was going to be like and what I would have to work with, because obviously it doesn't come with lights itself. So that's the interior section, and then this window comes with I should have just have that. I don't quite know why I am missing the pediment for the window. Learn all kinds of useful words. So I've got, should have a top strip. And I don't seem to have one. Potentially underneath something else. There it is. So I fit these together. Obviously being really careful with the clips because I don't want to scratch or indent the wood, at least not too much. Another thing I ought to talk about, I will probably talk about, is sort of the getting comfortable with the imperfection side of doing this. I mean, I'm just kind of chit-chatting away to myself right now, but this was something that I'm a natural perfectionist. I like things to be as good as I can possibly get them. And what stopped me working on the house over winter was being bothered by how imperfectly I'd done the painting on the walls, the external walls, and it just really bothered me. I think we do that by fingers. I'm just holding it in place now. And it took me several attempts to do the external walls because of the way that they were put together, the way that you had to fit them together and then paint them so that they looked like planks, and you had to use a template. I couldn't get it to look right. I was really unhappy with the results every time. I kept redoing it. I left it for ages. I wasn't working on it in the winter because it was so cold, but also it was just it was just quite scary. Just like, I'm going to get this wrong, and I don't like that. So the other aspect of this, because you do this, you know, you sign up to do something like this, you don't necessarily have any experience of working with wood, with working with metal, any experience, you know, knowing the shortcuts that you could take, knowing what will work if the instructions aren't playing fair, playing nice with you one time. So the kind of skills, the kind of background knowledge that you only gain with experience. Why experience in doing things like this can be so important and useful. And practicing over and over again is so important and useful, is that you learn so much. Just from doing things over and over again. And you know, if you sign up to something like this and you've never done it before, you will just not know. Just there's so much that you have to learn on the fly. So, you know, you start off doing things one way and then you figure out that doesn't work, I've got to do them another. That has created some muck on there. That's my other clip. So I've just had something, probably paint from my fingers, actually attach itself to the impediment. This is quite difficult. This is, everything on this is curved because of course it is sitting against the curve of the Moomin house external walls. Curse Moomin Papa for building a round house. He wanted it to look like the house. The stoves that little house trolls that the Moomins originally were. Now, as usual, I glue my fingers before anything else. He wanted it to look, so it was curved. The Moomin house was curved from the very start, but I don't know if he encountered all kinds of problems with windows, but I certainly have. With anything going around on a curved surface, it has been a bit of a nightmare to work with at times. So that gives me the external front of the window. That's quite exciting, actually. And I will just check to see what is required of me making the window. That's all in really quickly. And then I use quick drying glue. You end up with your favourite brands. You end up knowing, you know, whether some new expensive thing that they do works. All the strange bits of knowledge that you end up with from doing something like this. But I will say this, the problem with quick drying glue is it is quick and it's strong, and that means getting your fingers stuck. Or at least it does for me. And so I think because this is my first test of doing something like this again for a really long time. Go. So that is the window. There we go, I like that. Perfect, or at least as good as I could get it. Now we have to rather than leave it lying around, I had windows. I had a whole box full of windows for so long. Oh, never mind. Here we go. This is the front section. You can see here. This has not been done at the back, so this is still open at the back because we're waiting the big moment when I decide to put the lights in. We have a door that opens and closes. Open all that well. I may just do some work to ease that up. But we have a door, and this window goes in here. And this was the bit I did a time lapse at the weekend, and the discovery during the time lapse was that not all of as you can see, the gaps between the frames, so it's just going to have to rest on the laptop. The gaps between the underlying frame and the blue front sections of the window are not perfect. It took quite a lot of work to get the window into place. And I have particular issues with the door. I just realised this is probably going to mess up my sound. Unfortunately, I don't have a better mic. Used to have, don't have right now. So I think we are going to go for this side of the door. Apologise for the destruction of your ears. If anyone ever watches this might be just me talking to future me. And there we have it. There we have the window sits in there really nicely. I am going to have to do more work on the other side. That's quite uneven when that window goes in. I think Moomin Papa would be quite happy with that. So what I'm going to do is just push it out. So some of these were so tight that putting wood glue on was just unnecessary. It's clearly going to hold until the end of time. But I think for this one I will just put wood glue in. I have to work out where my hands need to go, and there's my phone trying to be clever again. I need to take that off next time. Let's turn that around. And there we have it. We have another window added to one of the front of the house, which will eventually have a nice big porch stuck on front of it. This is not the veranda side, it is the front of the house. So I'm really pleased with that, considering what a rough day today was. So thank you for joining me. That was my first test run doing this. We are very late in terms of constructing the Moomin house, but it would have been really boring doing it from the very first videos because it was literally just a set of steps and half a bed. So I'm going to put this back onto the Moomin house, and then I will finish up for the night, so, and upload this to YouTube. So thank you very much if you watch this on YouTube as well. Okay, take care.